Welcome back to the Black Swan Yoga Podcast. My name is Patsy Montoya, and I'm here with my dear friend, Madeline Chen. Today, we are talking Vata season.
Hey, Patsy.
Hey.
I'm so excited to talk about this today. If you didn't listen to our previous episode on the introduction to Ayurveda, Patsy and I go in depth, and Patsy shares all of her wisdom and knowledge on this really healing science and this tool to help you become the happiest version of you. Ayurveda is a practice, a science, a lifestyle, so many different things. And having the basic understanding of it in relation to you and the world and the seasons in which we're in can be so helpful to stay in your best grounded self, your happiest version of you. And it's a really, really great tool. So as we promised in that introduction episode, we are going to be sharing podcasts each season. And there's 3 seasons in Ayurveda to go more in depth into the details of each season, what it might look like in your mind and your body, and how you can navigate it. So right now we're in Vata season, which is kind of simply, we'll get into the details of it, but simply put, it is about movement and can oftentimes be or feel kind of chaotic and fast-paced. So it's very fitting, as in the last couple of months, we've been doing a lot. Patsy just got back from her wedding. Congratulations.
Thank you.
She's off the market. And right after her wedding and honeymoon, she comes back for 2 seconds, I don't even know, like a day or two, and then goes right back to work leading a Black Swan Yoga retreat to Costa Rica, which was fabulous. Look out for more of those. And then right after that, back into the world of craziness. Everything's going, super fast in our world right now. Black Friday's coming up. The holidays are happening. The president might be impeached. Lots of stuff is going on.
Yes.
So I'm really excited to sit down for a second with you today and pick your brain on the wisdom you have to help all of us out a little bit.
Oh, thank you so much, Maddie. It's really, we all feel this time right now of like just movement, as you said, this crazy time where it might be really more chaotic, or even just this place of lots of energy, like creative energy, lots of airy feels right now. And that is the truth of Vata. It's, Ayurveda is a fascinating science to me. It's something that has shown me a different way to find balance into my own nature. So I'm looking at the elements of Mother Nature and seeing how I interact with that and my own elements. Okay, do I have more of the elements of that space and air? Or maybe when we enter into this season right now, it's like double time space and air, and I'm losing my keys like more than ever. I'm all over the place. So as we come into this season, it is so important to ground, to have a schedule, to have a routine. So as Maddie said, I just got back from Costa Rica, just got married. We went to St. Thomas. So it's been a lot of travel for me, pretty much more than any other time in my life. And I know that this particular time, I had to find my schedule and I had to find my meditation. And it was like not even a question of I need to do this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel you too.
Yeah.
I'm cracking up too. It's a full moon this week and Mercury is in retrograde. You guys know that's a little bit crazy. So lots of stuff's happening, but I was reflecting on this topic and this season we're in, and I think it's kind of like a spectrum of experience. It can go into this really fast-paced, exciting place of the holidays are coming up, what we can look forward to and celebrate and really create this joyous time in our lives. We're at this time where creativity is on the high, which is really appropriate for the plans we want to make for the new year intentions or goals or dreams we have to experience in the coming year. And it can be in this place of excitement and happiness and joy. And like, we can really jive on like moving fast and getting things done and just excited. But it can really easily go to the other side of the spectrum where we're freaking out and we're like, oh my God, I'm so anxious. I'm stressed out. I, am stressed about going to see my family for the holidays or whatever the hell it is. But it can go back and forth. And I think based on your own specific nature, you may have a tendency to thrive on chaos or crumble at the stress of it. So, or somewhere in between, which is probably the case. But I'm excited to hear more about, I would love for you to kind of go into just a second or two about Ayurvedic, the seasons, and then share how they are related to each kind of person. So we can kind of start to identify, who am I and what do I relate with? Am I going to thrive in Vata season, or can I kind of think ahead and say, oh, when my grandma starts talking about my whatever in my life, I might feel a little stressed. I'm going to prepare a meditation for myself over the holidays. Or whatever you have going on.
Absolutely. Because that is what it is. We play off of our own elements and then elements of Mother Nature. But yeah, a little bit of an overview is, so we're talking about Vata season right now. And when I'm saying seasons, Vata could, it's really, what I want to say is dosha. And dosha is our constitution, our characteristics. It goes into gunas, into elements. And there are, as Maddie mentioned, there's going to be 3 doshas, 3 seasons. And there's also, these doshas are also personality types. So Vata, the elements are space and air. So we're looking at this time of, wind and change. And as Maddie said, movement. And then a person who is considered with a dosha personality type of Vata, they're going to be the creative type. They're going to be the forward thinker. They're going to be the person who's pretty damn unique. And they're not unique in the sense of being trendy, but unique in the sense of just doing their own thing.
Eclectic.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
that's so wild. I bet it, and it really comes in with the you can tell Vata season jumping around a little bit. It comes in with the astrological signs as well. Aquarius is an air sign, and they're known for kind of spearheading new uncharted waters and leading the way on things.
Yeah.
So just as an example, as one, that's so interesting. I'm going to look more into that.
I know. I've been asked that before about the similarities or the connections, and I'm looking for a good book on that. So
let us know, y'all.
Yes.
Or a podcast or something.
Right.
We'll do one later. We got to research and then we'll come back to you.
Absolutely. So that is a Vata personality. And then we're also looking at, Ayurveda talks a lot about, and I always bring this up in all my lectures, is the digestive system. The digestive system is really known as the seat of health for Ayurveda. And when we have too much movement, too much space, it's a lot of bloating, or, that we feel the gas, the air, or it's just a lot of diarrhea running through really fast, not being able to really hold substance. So that's Vata. And I always bring that up because if Ayurveda is saying that that's the seat of health, then we're going to look at what, what our poop looks like.
Oh, hello. We're all over the place from one thing to the next.
Here we are. So now let's look at Kapha. Kapha, Kapha, Kapha. And this is the time where seasonally, they say it is the coldest day of what we call winter, into all the way through spring, into when it starts to heat up more. So Kapha is typically what we would know as spring around that time. And this is the place of grounding. This is, things are starting to come up out of the ground. We're starting to want to be outside more. This is this time when we are really feeling like we're feeling nourished by Mother Nature herself, like beautiful sunny days. And then personality types, a person with Kapha are going to be the nurturers, the caregivers, the lovers. They're to a fault almost. A lot of times if they're out of balance, it's because they're not remembering themselves. They're putting everyone else first. And they are also seen as, I said the Vata personality type, but Vata is very slender because they almost forget to eat. If it's space and air, it's like they're way up in the clouds and they're not going to think about like these earthly elements of like eating. Whereas Kapha, they're all about the ground. So they're going to maybe even overeat. A lot of times a kapha personality or kapha person is seen with more rounder physical traits. All right, so that's 2. The last one is pitta. Pitta season is what we know as the hot season, what we think of as summer. And pitta is all about fire. So we're thinking about this time where we're more motivated and we have more energy and more drive. And, we want to be outside. And then the pitta personality type is exactly what I just said. This person who is, really wants to be the leader. Great leaders are pitta personalities. And they're going to have so much fire in them, maybe even to a fault, where when they're out of balance, we see anger. We see too much ego. And so, but thinking about the element of fire, just go, go, go. This is also the person who has to get two workouts in a day because they have so much energy. They have so much fire to burn.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So overall, we've got Vata that can be flowy, but also can, be moving, kind of jumping from here to there so quick. We have Kapha that is a little bit slower and more grounded and likes the delights of the human existence. And then we have Pitta that is normally pretty fast moving and can be intense in a good way or a bad way.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We've got 3 major people and seasons. So right now we're in Vata.
Yep.
As the fall season comes about, as we move away from Pitta, the heat of the summer, so the leaves change and things are starting to, lots of wind is happening.
Yes.
I was in a cab the other day and the guy's like, I swear it's not me driving like a crazy person. The wind is moving my car side to side. I'm like, okay, got it.
That's so true.
Yeah, totally.
I love it. Yeah. And that is Vata to a T. We're feeling it. And I love hearing even little things like that when we notice, okay, the cab driver is actually paying attention to what's going on outside. And he's saying, that's not in me. You know what I mean? Like that's something else happening.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Observing Mother Nature.
Absolutely.
In small things
Making
like
the best of it or just working with it.
Right.
Like it's coming to mind thinking about these different personality types and how as you might have a natural, like let's say you are a Vata type of person and you're in Vata season. It could be really helping your creative side and your, movement side, but it also could be like overstimulating that part of you, or the opposite. Like, let's say you're a Kapha person who normally likes things really a little bit slower and allows time for processing and really taking your time on Earth, moving into this really kind of like bustling, windy season of moving and chaos and lots of stuff happening can be completely overwhelming. So knowing that that's coming, you can set yourself up to have an extra, grounded practice or, even kind of change your diet season to season to aid you. So what are some foods that can help people have like a counter effect on Vata season and help you feel more grounded in the chaos and windy type of feeling that we have?
Yeah. So, let's start with one of the main principles of Ayurveda is if we have 2 elements that are similar, then we're going to be out of balance. But if we're thinking about one element mixed with an element that is different, we're going to find more balance in our lives. So if we have so much wind and space and we're up in the clouds, like Vata season, then we're going to want to welcome in an element of earth. Earth might be really great, this place of grounding. So more Kapha elements. And when we're talking about nutrition, right now is a great time to have root vegetables in particular. Root vegetables and warming foods. It makes sense. A lot of us, we bust out the crock pot right now. And then we make these big stews and, have these potlucks right now. It's like the time of year where we come together and nourish each other. But root vegetables is a really big go-to for Vata season.
Absolutely. And just heavier foods in general. I bet like foods like, if you eat meat, the type of meat that's a little bit heavier, like beef, or foods that have more substance and healthy fats could be more grounding to you in nature, like avocado or other foods, even though, that's a tropical food. So
Yeah, but definitely avocado.
still get your fat in. Get some nuts and seeds.
Yes.
And some oil.
Right.
Raw oil.
Yeah. And even with the oil, really, there is a practice in Ayurveda to massage the body with different oils. And a heavier oil at this time, maybe some almond oil might be really soothing for this Vata type when we're all up in the clouds.
And because it's so dry too.
Right.
Just talking aesthetically, we want to look good as well. So at the end of the day, massage your feet and hands with some oil, put a little on the ends of your hair,
Definitely.
You'll look fabulous.
Yes.
An awesome snack I love around this time is 2 different versions. I'll give you a vegan idea and then a meathead idea. Make a sweet potato, and you could make it any type of sweet potato. We're so lucky we have versions. We could have a yam, the traditional orange sweet potato, or a Japanese sweet potato that's purple on the outside and white on the inside. And you can either bake it, or you could slice it into rounds. So you have circular things, and you could either bake, or you could even steam them if you have a steamer. But I love to have that like grounded root vegetable. And then you could, for the vegan option, put on some nut butter. Raw is definitely best, but anything works. So it could be almond butter, peanut butter, pecan butter, anything that suits you. And then on top of that, you could add in some healthy fats like chia seeds. And then, if you need a little sweetness, get some honey or something fabulous, maple syrup. It's like good with minerals,
Oh, I love that.
Okay. And then for the other version, which is normally what I eat, sweet potato. And I like to have, pasture raised, grass fed and finished ground beef cooked. So I just have it ready in my fridge whenever I am feeling extra Vata and like, oh my God, I'm moving a million miles a minute and I forgot to eat. Okay. I have a sweet potato ready in my fridge. I pull it out, warm it up, put some ground beef on there, some avocado, and you could even add some nutritional yeast. So you have some extra B vitamins, which is good for your blood. And right now, if you have cold hands and feet, you want to increase your circulation however you can. So, you could have some ginger slices in hot water for like a tea that could help your circulation, or you could eat things that have more B vitamins like nutritional yeast, beef, beets, spinach, lots of different things that you could add into your diet. But yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Food.
I'm getting hungry.
Oh, I'm hungry.
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Sounds amazing.
If you're driving right now, go somewhere and get this snack.
Yes.
Anyways, just an idea.
Sounds amazing. I love, how you said something about the circulation. Like it's really great for the blood. And that is a big thing with Vata season because it has to do with movement. A Vata person might have, if they're out of balance, they might have some circulation issues going on. And so they say, a big principle during this season is to actually treat yourself like you would treat a baby.
That's nice.
Yes.
Aww.
Like don't go out into the cold without, bundling up. You would never let a baby go out there.
Oh my God.
And then and don't,
so true.
Right. And don't overstimulate yourself. So, you wouldn't want to have like loud music with your baby around or like just people talking all the time. It's treat yourself like a baby, like really swaddle yourself, nest in. And then silence is golden during this time.
Absolutely.
Silence is so important.
Just giving yourself a couple minutes to just sit
and
stillness.
Totally. And even thinking about if you are someone who drives a lot, if you are in the car often, you're adding another element of movement when we're already in the season of movement. So we want to, as I said earlier, we don't want similar elements because that's going to throw us out of balance. We want to find ways to find different elements, to find opposing elements. So if you're in the car a lot, I really suggest this time of the year to take that time without the radio, without music, let it be silent and be with yourself. Spend those times like just observing yourself, observing your thoughts, being aware, being present because you're driving, but also don't let yourself get overstimulated by the sound.
That's awesome. Something I've been doing is having pretty simple, but they've been very powerful boundaries around technology in the morning and at night. When I wake up, I definitely give myself at least 30 minutes before I get onto my computer or laptop to start working. And I just make my tea, have a second to sit, take a few deep breaths, get grounded, and ease into the day rather than rush into it. And that really has been helping me. And then at night, kind of the same thing, like giving myself extra time to have the self-care practice of like, if you shower before bed, flossing and brushing your teeth, doing some tongue scraping. The Ayurvedic practice is really great for your digestion and good breath. And then, adding in the almond oil massage at night, like all of that could take 15 minutes, maybe more or less, but just slowing down instead of, like a light switch, turning it on and turning it off, expecting yourself to wake up and be ready to go right away, turning it off and be like laying in bed after a crazy day, ready to go to sleep. Think about a light switch with a dimmer. We want to slowly rise up through the lights and slowly dim it down at the times of days. So just kind of countering the crazy windy energy can be really helpful.
Definitely.
Has been for me.
Oh, big time. And schedules a really important time right now to have your schedule. And with that comes routine. And Ayurvedically speaking, as Maddie said, morning and night are really important times of the day for us. And thinking about how you wake yourself up and how you treat your body is very important. And then the elements around you too, when you're going to sleep, I really recommend, literally dimming the lights, not having a screen in front of you. If you have an oil diffuser, maybe a candle, even activities of like folding the laundry or doing the dishes like later on in the night that are almost more meditative in themselves can be really soothing for you as you begin to, close off for the day. So establish a routine right now as we go into Vata season and as we're getting closer to the time of the holidays and seeing family or seeing things or being around people that might actually trigger some anxiety. Have a schedule to set yourself up for success. So that way, every day I wake up and I do these 5 things so that when anxiety hits, I feel more grounded because I did these things to prepare myself.
Absolutely. A gratitude journal is really great right now, or just a journal in general. If you're having this practice of staying off your phone for 15 to 30 minutes when you wake up, make yourself some tea or coffee, whatever you prefer, something warm to wake you, and then get your journal out and just free write for a page or two. I've been doing that, and it's really helping me kind of clear out from whatever dreams I had or energy I woke up with and set myself up for a good day.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And this is a really creative time of the year for us. Vata people are the unique individuals that are so creatively driven. So right now is a great time to spend time with yourself creatively. Maybe you pick up a new hobby such as cooking. Cooking in itself can be really creative. Maybe you pick up a pen and start drawing or start painting. But there is a line here. And it's a thin line because we don't want to start huge projects. And usually those huge projects are like work-wise because it just might be too much right now. Right now we're up in the clouds. And so we're dreaming really big, but we don't have the grounded energy to like really go anywhere with it. So allow a creative outlet to take place. But Ayurvedically speaking, these big projects could wait until kapha season to begin to really implement.
Cool. Yeah. So kapha season is like when you would plant the seeds to sprout in the spring. Okay.
100%.
So create and dream right now, but just gather you're a squirrel gathering all the nuts for the winter.
Yeah.
Gather everything.
Yes.
But don't eat it yet. Or do they eat it? I don't know. They're starting to look a little fat.
That's so funny.
They're so cute.
They're so cute. But you really are like bringing up this point that I was about to go into is the harvest. When we look around and we have these beautiful harvests, think about how we take care of ourselves. Right now is a really great time for self-care. It's a great time to get all of your doctor's appointments taken care of. It's a great time to, as I said, start new self-care rituals. This is a period of treating yourself like a baby or treating yourself like the queen or king that you are. And on top of that, like, I really encourage self-care days that they even like might look like work, because it's sometimes it takes discipline to say, okay, I am not going to leave the house today because this is a Patsy day. Today, if you can, like I have a teacher who every Wednesday during Vata season, she works from home and she doesn't get out of her PJs. And that is her
Who, me?
self-care
I'm
day.
just kidding. Dreams.
I know.
I love it.
Yeah. And she spends
That's awesome.
she works in her PJs in her bed snuggled up with her animals. And that is her way of like nesting and soothing. And
I was thinking stuffed animals, but probably real animals.
Stuffed works too.
Oh my
Whatever
God.
floats your boat.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
But take time for yourself to nest. I love that.
Oh yeah, it's so true, and it can look at it and feel different for everybody. I think it's really easy to get into the comparison game of what we have and don't, and comparing it to each other. And I think it's a really beautiful thing to share examples from our lives with each other and the people in our lives, so that we can inspire and spark new creative ideas. But don't go down this path of like, damn, I wish I could stay home on Wednesdays and get my PJs. Instead, think about how you can do that in any type of way, any type of form. Like, let's say you work 7 days a week where you have to leave the house every single day and you're go, go, go. Can you give yourself 5 minutes, or can you take a hot shower or bath at night, or something that you have as an anchor to keep you rooted is really, really helpful.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm so glad you said that, because it doesn't have to look a certain way, but how can you incorporate these elements into your life? And that might be like right now is a great time to take a hot bath and to soothe. And if you have access to a sauna, go to the sauna, or you go to a hot yoga class too. These elements that bring in the heat, the fire, or the grounded sensations, restorative yoga, and really starting a regular scheduled meditation practice could be very beneficial during this time.
For sure. It really makes sense that this is flu season. I mean, if you think about it, obviously from the Mother Nature physical scientific aspect of it, of course, as the weather gets cold, people can be more susceptible to flu or sickness of any kind, snots running, germs, whatever. Snots running. But it's really interesting because it makes sense, I feel like, because, to fight the flu and to keep yourself healthy, you have to be adaptable and you have to change every season. What works for you in July, the hottest, or August, the hottest months of the year, let's say you're really thriving on wearing less clothing and drinking cold smoothies and eating cold salads and eating things that are light, fresh, and cold, you naturally have this circulation pumping through your body because it's hot as hell, especially in Texas where we are. But as we're moving into the colder season, if you're not adapting and allowing that movement, allowing the change and flow of Vata to move you into a new place of saying, okay, I love a smoothie every day for breakfast, and that's been my routine for the last 4 to 6 months. But now that it's cold, I really need to change that. And I need to change my habit into something that fits, my greatest health. And I just see so many people, including myself. We were talking about this in a teacher training last weekend, about just the routine of eating the same thing and how you're healthiest when you can eat variety and change the nutrients you're getting. And it's the same thing with the seasons, allowing yourself to change and go into the colder, windier season and have, all the tools and the backup to prevent the flu can help you. But it makes sense that it's the flu season because people are fast paced, more stressed out. So many things are going on in preparation for the holidays and the new year. It's colder. Lots more sugar is available, drinking maybe, all these type of things that are really fun. But we have to stay responsible and grounded enough to create health in our bodies and our minds by meditating and taking a few minutes to calm down, take a bath or whatever, but also really nurture ourselves with good food, drink enough water and all that stuff. It's just, it makes so much sense that of course it's flu season when all this happens, because we can get so fast paced that we forget to slow down and take care of ourselves.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
So eat your root veggies.
Yes.
And some greens too, but take care of yourself.
Absolutely. And it's important at this time of the year too, to nourish yourself with your community. it's easy, since everything is moving so fast, to kind of get caught up in that movement and not be present with one another. So
Totally.
and just as I was saying about the like creative aspects and starting projects, there's definitely like this thin line, because what I'm not encouraging is to go to a party and be around a bunch of people with loud music, because that's just more stimulation. But what I do encourage are like really more intimate conversations, or being present with a smaller group or people that just really matter to you, loved ones, family, and being with them rather than just around them, really allowing yourself to nourish with the good people that build you up. So that's going to be important during this time too, especially as we, there's a lot of like I have to do's during this time. Like we have to go see this person. We have to do this. We have to get this. And I think it's just important to remember I get to do this. And then we get to choose too the people that really love us and we love. And we, that's who I encourage you to gravitate towards through
That's
this
awesome.
time.
That's really beautiful. I was listening to this podcast this week on intimacy and, keeping your relationship fire alive when you have very Vata-like things happening in your life. Like you have your new parents or your life is changing a lot. And one of the tips, this couple who were relationship coaches, one of the advice tips they gave was looking at intimacy in different ways instead of just the traditional, really simple way of looking at connection. Rather, looking at intimacy as being like as simple as possible. And something that they shared that they do is if they're feeling disconnected in their relationship, in their partnership, they just lay together and breathe. And they're like, we just take a second. And the practice that they do is they're saying that one of them lies on top of the other person as like a weighted blanket, which is also an awesome tool you can practice, just having more grounded, weighted feeling on your body. Like if you go to your yoga practice and you feel kind of, stressed or chaotic in Shavasana, you could place a block on your belly or legs or something that gives you more weight and connects you with gravity, with earth, and moves you closer to the ground. But I loved that they were sharing just be and take some breaths. Don't feel like you have to have this outcome or achieve this end result when it comes to intimacy. Like just be with each other. And whether that's a romantic relationship or familial or friendship or even work relationship, like if you have to have hard conversation at work, just allow it to be and unfold instead of rushing to the end or the end result, all that stuff. It's hard to do, but it's really will be powerful if you can tap into it.
I love that.
Let's go lay down.
Yes, really, really. That's so good.
Why, yes, I would like to do that.
We have some restorative and yin classes on BSY TV, and I think that could be a really great, intimate way to connect with people. We recorded TV channels. We recorded a couple classes yesterday. And as I'm recording my yin class, I'm thinking, it really is difficult to just be silent but it's such a good practice to give yourself that space.
Absolutely.
And now I'm thinking a step further to do that with, a friend or a loved one, to just be silent with one another. And as you're connecting with your own body, wow, what a beautiful activity.
Totally. I love that. Awesome.
Cool. Yeah. Something else I want to touch on while we're talking about the doshas is it's also considered a season of life. So we're looking at the seasons from Mother Nature, but we also can look at them in our life stages. So we begin in this very kapha season of life where we are finding our connection with our family and our roots and, just learning how to trust too, which is a big part of rooting in. And then as we start to go into our teenage years, around puberty, we go into more of a pitta stage. So this is where we're figuring out who we are and our drives and our passions. And then I got to find it, and then it goes further down. Pitta actually is said to go all the way into about 50s or so. And that is this place of my career and I'm motivated. And then, I look at my parents who are retired and they live on a sailboat for half the year, where Vata stage is letting go. And now you're considered this wisdom keeper. And I think that that's the same with Vata season with the Mother Nature is like, remember that this is the time to find the wisdom within you, the wisdom within others, and to just cherish this place of like letting go of the need to like go, go, go and have that like drive. Like Pitta is so much about being an extrovert. It's like this like energy of being around other people and motivated. And so allow yourself during this time. And, if we're entering into that time of our lives to let go, to remember that you are the wisdom keeper itself.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
And not, if you're on the stage of the Pitta season of your life to balance it, like I feel like a common thing in our generation and time frame is that people just think that they're never good enough, or they haven't done enough, and there's always more to be done, which is true. Coming from a Pitta millennial, but like tempering that with the reality of, damn, like, okay, I've really come a long way. Look where I am at in my life, and honoring it and taking a moment and taking a break and giving yourself time, whether it is a, Patsy day or, a day for yourself, whatever that looks like, or just a few minutes of reflection and recognition of your own efforts. I think that's really key.
Yes.
And super important.
Wherever you are, in whatever stage in your life, whatever season you are in your life, just acknowledging this is where I am, and maybe even acknowledging this is where I need help and this is why I need to work on, is really huge. And as you start to notice the elements around you, I really encourage you, just like Maddie's taxi cab driver, like to just take note, like this isn't me. This is like happening from around me. Or maybe like, whoa, there's something like really happening in me. And then it's acting with the elements around me. Ayurveda really has had such a shift in my life to find more balance. And I hope that that's what this conversation, this discussion is beginning to spark in you, to find more balance in your life, to take an honest look at what's happening in your life, to be grateful for where you are, and, just move forward into more health.
Absolutely. We want to leave you with a meditation, a short one. So if you're driving, keep your eyes open. But if you have a few minutes, either pause it, come back to this podcast later, or if you're ready to dive in, we want to offer you a meditation that could be very helpful for Vata season. Not too long, just a few minutes. So go ahead and get comfortable. And if you are driving, obviously keep your eyes open, but feel free to listen and be open and observant. But if you can, if you're home or somewhere where you can sit and close your eyes, please dive in and let's meditate for a bit.
If you are in a space where you can actually sit on the ground or just feel your feet on the earth, on the floor, then go ahead and do so. Find your way into this place where you feel more rooted and you allow gravity to hold you. Closing your eyes, take a big inhale through your nose and sigh it out. Begin to relax your facial expression and relax your shoulders, coming into this place of trust, trusting that you are safe to let go and to soften.
Begin to relax your physical body, starting from your crown at the top of you, the place of the mind and movement. Start to soften and slow down. Relax your forehead. Soften your eyes. Relax your jaw. And give your tongue a break. Not needing to speak or create, but just be. And then allow that energy to trace down through the rest of your body. Each exhale helping you to soften from shoulders, relaxing your belly, all the way down into the place of connection and support. Your hips, your legs, your feet. Give them some rest and stillness.
Invite the sensation of being grounded, being really rooted and supported. Take a big inhale through your nose and say to yourself, I am safe. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Come back to your breath and allow the calming sensations of your breath to calm the mind, to calm your heart space. And as you move forward with your day, observe yourself. Observe how you feel emotionally. Observe how you would like to respond instead of react, and what you're being drawn into for nutrition and how to nourish yourself. Remembering that you deserve all of the nourishment, all of the love, the abundance of being held and being supported.
Let's take 3 more breaths together. Welcome breath in and soften your breath out. Slow it down for another inhale and exhale. One more breath in the moment, slow, welcoming it in and letting go. If you have some time, just sit in stillness. Thanks for meditating with us.
From our hearts to yours, namaste.
Namaste.